It is Wednesday, March 11th, 2020, and you are tuned into DIRTRACKR Daily. I'm Justin Fiedler. I had all these grand plans yesterday of coming home, and I'm sure this happens to everyone, but I had all these grand plans yesterday of coming home and working on DIRTRACKR analytics yesterday, and I had to help a neighbor out with a tree, and I came in the house and made the mistake of cracking a beer and sitting on the couch, and then that was it for the rest of my day. So I have only gotten up through Hard Knocks Friday night of the 2018 season for the Knoxville Nationals. I still have the remainder of the early part of that season to add, and I have some other stats I want to add, and again, thought I was going to do all of that yesterday, and it just didn't happen. So I will get to that stuff as I have more time. Hopefully today will be a little bit better, and I won't make the mistake of sitting on the couch. Lots of news and things to kind of run through today for the show. I'll kind of get into some of the stuff for the next couple of days, some of the stuff for the weekend over the next couple of days, but today is mostly just some news items and a couple of things I wanted to point out to you guys. Shane Stewart has added a 10-race stretch with Roth Motorsports to his 2020 season. He drove full-time for CJB Motorsports last season with the World of Outlaws, but was released at season's end, has been piecing together deals for this season. He made 4 starts in Florida at Volusia, the DIRTRACKR Nationals, in a second car for Sides Motorsports. Had a couple of decent runs, a little bit of trouble down there as well, but good to see him in a car down there. His 10 races with Roth include the 2 opening weekends for NARC King of the West, and then the other 8 races will be the California World of Outlaws shows. He will be in the 83 junior car, I believe. First race in that car, you can see Shane this Saturday with King of the West at Kern County Raceway Park. And I was actually looking this morning and saw Shane told Beer Hill Gang TV guys that he expects to run some races for Bernie in the Indy Race Parts car, that number 71 car this year. He said he's looking for some money and would hopefully like to do maybe somewhere between 30 and 50 races if he can put some money together, and was asking if people knew anybody looking to sponsor Shane Stewart to let him know. But yeah, so hopefully we'll see Shane a lot more this year. It kind of sounds like he's working on piecing together kind of a bunch of different rides, and hopefully we'll see him a lot of different places. And then he kind of talked about wanting to maybe get back to a full-time schedule, full-time series next year, and is working in that direction. But really like Shane, good race car driver, super good guy. Have become a big fan of Shane's here over the last couple of years. So hopefully he gets everything straightened out. Speaking of driver news, Swindell Speed Lab yesterday tweeted that they will be taking Sammy racing in the 39 next season, or I guess this season in 2020. There was no schedule included in the tweet and the video, but I'm guessing we'll find out pretty soon where we'll see Sammy and the 39 car. And they have kind of a neat logo. This is 50 years for Sammy, 71 to 2020. So pretty neat. I'm sure there will be all kinds of cool paint schemes and t-shirts and things like that to go along that. So keep up with Swindell Speed Lab and where they will be taking Sammy this season. I'm sure we will hear soon. I talked a little bit yesterday about Dirt Vision and kind of the future of the pay-per-view landscape. After they announced they'd added Attica Raceway Park's weekly schedule, they announced yesterday that they've also added Williams Grove's weekly program, including the 410 sprint cars, to their to the pay-per-view streaming service. And I say they like I don't work there and I don't work on that site, but you will see, the addition of Williams Grove to Attica. So if you're keeping track at home now, Dirt Vision now has World of Outlaws Sprint Cars, World of Outlaws Late Models, Summer Nationals Late Models, Modified Nationals, Ultimate Sprint Cars, Ultimate Speedway Challenge, Perth Motorplex, Extreme Dirt Car Series, which just ended here not too long ago, Knoxville Raceway's weekly program, the Knoxville Nationals, and now Attica and Williams Grove. Like I said about the Attica stuff, Williams Grove pricing will be released soon, so keep an eye on that. I believe Williams Grove kicks off this weekend, so I'm sure you will find out here very shortly any pricing details. But again, great addition to Dirt Vision, and I think it'll be really, really neat to have even more offerings there from Dirt Vision to kind of go along with kind of the wide array of offerings we're getting right now. Pretty great to be able to keep up with all of this racing, and even if you can't watch all of it at once, a lot of these places you can go back a little while after, the next day, next couple of days after, and rewatch those whole programs for free. So, not for free, but at Dirt Vision you can go back and watch them for free. But Pretty neat to be able to have all that content, and looking forward to checking out some of the Attica and Williams Grove racing this year. The World of Outlaws Late Model Series announced that the series stop at Boone Speedway for the Hawkeye 100. The field will come to green 3 wide. It hasn't happened in a late model series since 2011 at Eldora. The start will mirror Boone's start for the track's annual IMSA Super Nationals for the modifieds. That'll be pretty neat to see. Cody Summer is promoting that race. I'm sure this is one of his ideas, which I think is pretty neat. So check that out at Boone coming up, the Hawkeye 100. The Outlaws are off for the next 2 weekends. They will return March 27th at the Volunteer Speedway. I was looking yesterday at the USAC website. They had an interesting piece out about some stats here to start the season. No National Series feature winner so far in 2020 has started in the first 2 rows of the feature. We hear all the time about, these races, and then you have to, start up front, and, it's the thing that I kind of started on Open Red, that, don't tell me there's no passing in sprint car racing. But, you hear this all the time about how, these formats and things like that really benefit the guys that are fast and start up front and all of this. But, every once in a while you'll see situations like this where that's not necessarily the case. And we're seeing that right now through the first couple of weeks of the USAC season across the sprint cars and the midgets. The closest to the front row, or to the front a winner has started, was Tanner Thorson at Bubba Raceway Park. He started 5th. The other 2 midget shows, Chris Wyndham came from 10th and Tanner Thorson came from 15th at the Shamrock Classic. The 2 sprint shows down there in Florida were won by Brady Bacon. Both nights he came from 9th to win. So pretty neat. And I believe 4 of those shows, those drivers that won, were also the hard chargers for the night. So pretty neat stats there, and shows you just how good the racing, I think, has been through the first couple of weeks of those USAC races. Hopefully we'll get to see that keep up here for the next I guess for the remainder of the season. It would be nice to see that happening, but pretty cool to watch those races and to see all that passing that's going on there. A lot of really, really good drivers, and a lot of up-and-comers, especially in the midgets this year, to check out. So if you haven't been paying attention to those shows, I would definitely recommend checking those out. I saw a tweet yesterday from Brian Walker. He retweeted a blog post by Brad Loya. Brad Loya was open wheel racer. He was forced to retire last year after an accident in his shop. I believe he was airing up some wheels and the wheel came apart. That caused some damage to his arm and his wrist, which basically turned out he can't race anymore. But since then, he started a business supplying race parts. He's done 2 blog posts now at bloyet.com. It's BLOYET.com. The first blog post covers kind of some of the issues, around his accident, and then what he's basically been doing since. And then the second post he wrote was about some mentors he's had in his life. So it's pretty neat stuff. I hope he keeps it up. Like I said, if you want to check out those blog posts, you can see them at bloyet.com. You can also follow him on Twitter at Loyet Motorsport. So looking forward to more that we can get from Brad. None of the bigger touring late model series are racing this weekend. There's a few smaller series and some local tracks in action. We'll start covering some of that stuff tomorrow, kind of get you prepared for those, and then we'll cover off. It's going to be a big weekend for open wheel action. World of Outlaws, NARC King of the West. I talked about that the other day. USAC West Coast 360 sprint cars are in action. USCS. Lots of local shows, and still stuff going on in Australia. So lots of stuff to talk about here over the next couple of days. We'll preview some of that action and get you ready for the weekend, tell you about where you can watch things and where you can go see some of those races. I mentioned this before, but I'm excited to get the World of Outlaws back going again. It's weird to have these 6-week breaks. So excited to get that series going again. I was listening to a podcast Jeremy Elliott was on, and he was talking about how it's almost like the season is starting back over again. You kind of had that little bit of a tease there in Florida, but then there's been so much time now in between those shows that guys have had time to kind of go back and make adjustments and maybe change some things. So it won't be surprising now if maybe we have some different names, maybe up front, guys went back and made some adjustments to their programs. So it'll be interesting to see how that stuff plays out starting this weekend in Texas and then moving into California for the California shows and that California swing for the World of Outlaws. Nothing on the Dirt Tracker pay-per-view schedule for today. There will be some shows starting tomorrow, and obviously a ton of stuff will be on that schedule through the weekend. You can keep up with that at dirttracker.com/watch tonight. There's races on there from basically every dirt racing pay-per-view provider that I could basically lay my hands on. Dirt Vision, Speed Shift, Flow, the Dirt Track Digest stuff, and Speed Sport. The cushion is on there, dirt on dirt, and I mean, you name it. If they're showing dirt racing pay-per-view, it's probably on there. And if you know of a service that's not on there, let me know, and I will certainly add them to the database and make sure that they're getting their broadcasts posted there. You can find DIRTRACKR Daily on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or where you get podcasts. Please subscribe, leave me a review, tell your friends. You can also watch this show on YouTube and Facebook if you'd like to see my lovely face. I even shaved my beard down a little bit today, so I'm looking a little cleaner. You can email the show at info@dirttracker.com. I'm checking that every single day if you have questions, suggestions, comments, things like that. You can follow along with DIRTRACKR, facebook.com/DIRTRACKR, twitter.com/DIRTRACKR, and DIRTRACKR.com, DIRTRACKR.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Justin_Fiedler. You can sign up for the DIRTRACKR weekly newsletter on the site as well. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Hope you have a good Wednesday, and I will see everybody tomorrow on DIRTRACKR Daily.